Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us here today. My name is Andy Murphy, and I am your MLS liaison here at Prospect Software. And I'll be joined today by my good friend Mary Leduc, who is also our training manager. Marie, between the two of us here, you're in very good hands. We have lots of understanding of the product and how it applies to the market. I had a wonderful time setting up the application with your MLS. They did a very good job in making sure that we were able to get all the goodies in there and make sure that the data was exactly the way that we were looking for. And what we're going to do here today is we're going to kind of give you a brief overview of what we're looking at in MLS Touch itself. So to kind of give you a better idea of what we'd be looking at here, we'll keep on moving. So Marie, why don't you give them an idea of what we're going to be talking about in the webinar itself?
Yes, thank you, Andy. So, hi everybody. Thanks for joining us live and or watching us later during this recorded session. We've got a lot of stuff to cover with you guys because the MLS Touch is a very awesome mobile MLS solution. I just want to give you a quick glimpse of what we have in store for you. First, we want to make sure you know what MLS Touch is all about. So, Andy will elaborate a little bit on this, and I might help him. And we'll also make sure that you know how to get the application, since maybe some of you have not installed it yet. It's been available since last Thursday, but maybe you were waiting for this session to know how to go about it. And then finally, we'll make sure that you get a nice overview of all the essential features that you benefit from this new application that is now a member benefit of yours. And we'll definitely demonstrate all of this live. So yeah, that's what we've got in store for you. So Andy, are you ready? I definitely am.
I most certainly am, for sure. Yeah, and let's start with what is MLS Touch. So, I mean, for those of you who don't know yet, or maybe don't have it installed on your phone, I totally recommend for this presentation itself that you take a few minutes here and just get yourself installed and logged in, and we'll give you a quick overview of that. But what is MLS Touch? So MLS Touch is a utility product that is going to bring your MLS mobile. So basically, when you're out and about and you're on your way, you're going to be able to use MLS Touch to access stuff like, showing instructions, maybe private remarks, anything that's a little bit more pertinent to you as an agent, you're going to have access to within MLS Touch itself. Now, there's a whole whack of features that come with this as well. One of them being, just to mention right out in the front here, would be brand and share. So you do have the option to brand a public version of the application with your brand. You can kind of see give you a little bit of an idea here with that picture that we just seen come up. You can brand this, share this with your clients, and then they can start to take advantage of, the public data that they're seeing within there. This is a really cool way as well to kind of monitor some of the things that they are maybe adding to their favorites, make suggestions on certain properties for them as well. Now, along with brand and share, we have, and probably really one of the reasons why we're here talking with you today, is the ability to manage your contacts. Now, with this comes some really cool things. So in MLS Touch, I can, access my contacts. I can import them maybe from my phone, but I do have access to contacts within MLS Touch. The really cool thing with MLS Touch right now is that we integrate with Matrix. So if I add a contact in MLS Touch, that's going to sync over into Matrix, giving me really a great opportunity to work with one contact database. And I'm sure that we all have our stories about working in, my contacts on my phone, my contacts here in the CRM, and so on and so forth. So by bringing these integrations together, we have a really fun way of syncing the contacts so that no matter where you're adding these contacts, they're going to sync between the two systems. Now, another integration point that we feel is really worth mentioning here would be the ability to sync your clients' activities. I don't know how many shows we've done here in the last little bit, Marie, where we've always heard people asking for, hey, when can my contacts sync with my MLS, my clients' activities? Well, these are now in place. So live today, you guys should be able to sync all your contacts and the client's activities. And give you a little bit of an idea what that entails. Let's say I have a client that's working in the Matrix client portal, and they're adding some of their favorites, maybe their possibilities, or discarded, what that will do is that will sync over to MLS Touch. You'll see that in their contact profile. And then if you're using the branded mobile application that you've shared with them, they'll also have access in there as well. So again, really powerful integrations that are going to really start to create a little bit of a hub to help you move forward with your business itself. And we're super happy to be able to present these integrations and some of these features here to you today.
So in other words, what Andy was telling you guys is that MLS Touch is the mobile, it provides you with the mobile experience that you deserve, right, when tapping into the MLS. And if you do set up and start sharing your branded app that comes with MLS Touch, so that and then you share it with your clients, you then will provide to your clients the mobile experience they deserve when it comes to searching properties and keeping tabs on the market. And Andy did touch a little bit about this branded app, and we will cover it briefly during this presentation. And this leads me to talk about branding, because we do believe here at Prospects, the company behind MLS Touch, that you should always make sure that you and your brand are top of mind. So in MLS Touch, you do have the means of setting up your branding with the colors and the logo of your choice, which will customize this branded app that we've been mentioning a couple of times already so far. But not only that, the whole experience you'll provide to your customers when using MLS Touch. For instance, if you send out listings, no matter if you send them to someone by text message or by email, well, the listing details will show up in those colors and with that logo. And for those of you who've got a Facebook page for their business, raise your hand. Are there any of you that have a Facebook page for their business? And if you do you already have your listings being published on there? Well, if not, MLS Touch also comes without any extra charge, right? So it's included. It comes with a Facebook publishing tool, which if activated, and we'll show you where you can go activate it during this presentation, it will keep an eye on your listings. If any announcements are warranted throughout their life cycle, those announcements will be published automatically by MLS Touch in your behalf. And those publications, as you can see a few examples of, they will also show up in your colors and with your logo. That's pretty exciting, right? Who's going to set up their brand? Raise your hand. I hope there's a lot of you. I can't see the list of audience here, but I know there's a lot of you here that did say they had a Facebook page. So anyways, there you go. But before we dig into any of that in a little bit more detail, or anything else that you benefit from this great mobile application, we want to make sure that you guys know how to get your hands on it. So let me quickly elaborate on that. And as Andy suggested, we highly recommend that even though this presentation is not designed for you to follow along, but at least for this part, if you don't have MLS Touch installed yet, pick up your device, right? No matter if it's your smartphone or a tablet, and let's get this done, right? Let's install MLS Touch. And if you haven't installed MLS Touch yet, it's very simple. It's just a free download through the application store of your device. So pull up the App Store if you have an Apple device, or pull up the Play Store if you have an Android device. Look up MLS Touch and then download and install it. It's free. And you'll have the application on your device. And the first time you log in, knowing that this is for realtors only, MLS Touch, right? It's for us, real estate professionals that are an active member of a participating real estate board, which the Northwest Arkansas board is. Well, we will be able to use this app, but we will have to log in, right? And the first time you launch the app, we'll log in. Right? You'll have to select your state, so say select Arkansas. Then you'll have to select your board, which is Northwest Arkansas, and you'll be then invited to log in. And the user ID and password that you need to enter here, it's simply your matrix login information. And what's really great with MLS Touch is that you log in once, and as long as your password doesn't change or you don't reinstall the app, you won't need to log it again. As soon as you first launch the app, then from then on, it's ready to go, and it will allow you to accomplish anything you need to when it comes to tapping into the MLS. That's pretty cool, right? Let me ask you this again. Who here has MLS Touch installed? Raise your hand, or you can answer through the question box if it's easier. And while I'm waiting for you guys to respond, I'm going to switch to my iPhone, and we're going to put aside those boring PowerPoint slides, and I'll be demonstrating everything else during this presentation live, as well as you guys could go through this with me directly from your mobile device. And I see a lot of you've got it installed. Good for you guys. And if you didn't,
great
well,
work.
now you know how.
Yeah. No, we see a lot of hands coming up, so it looks like we have a lot of people in there and already using MLS Touch since its launched last Thursday. So this is great. This is great to see.
All right, but before we start answering questions of those of you that are here live, because potentially we'll answer these during our presentation, let's dig into MLS Touch a little bit more together, right? Because I bet most of your questions will be answered when we're done doing that. But first, Andy, which feature is your favorite in MLS Touch?
Well, I'm a little biased, so I have a few favorite features in there. But one thing that I always find helpful when people are learning the products themselves, and what I see our users' favorite feature would be really map search. When you get into the application itself and you start using map search, we have it set up so that it's going to be consistent throughout the rest of the application. And what I mean by that is this. So right now we're in map search, and you can see it right here. If I wanted to filter down that search so that I could become a little bit more accurate in what I'm looking for, I could just click on that filter button there. If I want to see my listings in map view, and you'll see right here, this is a great example. What you'll see here is the filter screen, so I can really break down that search a little bit more and get in there and find the specifics. The good news about the way that this is set up is that this is also the same screen you'll see in the advanced search as well. So by getting into map search and learning a little bit about how that works, you're already becoming more familiar with the application itself. And you can see here as I'm filtering down some of the pricing, if you scroll down a little bit and we jump into the more criteria section here at the bottom, you'll start to see where we've really mapped what's in your RETS feed itself. So again, map search seems to be the most popular place to go in the app for first-time users. And when they get in there, we've jam-packed it with lots of functionality so that you can learn the rest of the app while you're in here just trying to search for listings. So stuff like map, list, and stats right along the top here as well. Anytime I do a search in the application, I'm going to have access to a similar page like this. So I can quickly jump into stats and see, what active stats are for the pins that I've seen on my map. So you'll have things like, your average price, your property type breakdown, days in the MLS, all stuff that you can use really while you're on the go. And if I wanted to, I could jump over and see what sold would look like. And then as well, I could also take a look at expired. So again, the key to our adoption and the reason why we're successful within these markets is the fact that we are, very sensitive to the fact that we want things to be consistent throughout the application. For example, I could jump down here and I could click on the little info button. That info button there gives me access to a few other little treats as well. So I could see what satellite mode would be. Maybe if I want to get in, see what traffic was like or what schools were in the area. All really tools that you'd want to have within the map search itself. And then I have my pencil. I could break that down as well just by drawing right on the map. We get a lot of feedback for the agents who are working with clients. So sometimes just pull the app right out and start drawing in the area that they want to be in. And that again breaks that down and filters it to just what we see in that rectangle right there. So if I switched over to list, I would see only what's in the rectangle. If I went over to stats, I would see only the stats for what's in that rectangle there. So it's just a nice, fun, easy way to kind of break that down as well. Now, if I go back over to the map and I go down and I just click on a listing, you'll see that we have a nice big preview screen that pops up here at the bottom. And if I wanted to, I could scroll through the pictures. I could still keep an eye on the map where that's located. And you can see that right there. You know, it's not a little square that just pops up by the pin, but I can go into that listing and get more details if I need to, or I could continue on and keep looking, clicking on pins in the map itself.
And Mickey has a good question because Mickey noticed that there are different colors of pins, and the colors of those pins are pretty telling. By default, the map search will always show you as soon as you launch it, anything that's around you that's either active or pending. So active, full-blown active listings will show up in blue. That's what that blue pin is. And anything that's orange is considered pending or is under contract, no show. So that's the difference, Mickey. And just so you know, however, you are not limited to exclusively looking up actives or pendings through the map search. And that goes for any search parameter, search feature that is at your disposal through MLS Touch, because you, as a realtor through MLS Touch, have access to the full MLS. So if we do go back to the filters where Andy drove us a little earlier, you do have the means of not only looking up actives or pendings, but if you see there's a listing status search parameter. So I could easily, instead of seeing actives and pendings, maybe just see actives, right, if I don't want to see pendings. But I can tell, and I don't really know your market that well because we're not from Arkansas, but it looks like there's a lot of pending, a lot of properties that have a pending offer, not as much properties that are active at the moment. But as you can see, your real estate board does allow you to search through not only sold properties, but off-market properties like expired and withdrawals as well. And so the map search, and like most search functionalities that you have access to through MLS Touch, will not only help you serve your buyers, but potentially your sellers as well, right? Because it could be, yes, super useful to search really by either by criteria or with the map for what could potentially be a good fit for a buyer, right? And then after narrowing it down to the specific market that is a good fit for them, launch the stats, right? To give them an idea of what the average price is and how the market is and if it's a good time for them to buy. But you could also pull up sold properties with the help of any given other additional criteria and do this for sold properties, which could potentially help you help sellers, right? When it comes to giving them advice if they are wondering if it's a good time to sell as well.
Good point, Mary. You know, Mary, I'm curious to know what your favorite feature in the app is. Where would you go next?
I don't want to jump to my favorite one. I usually like to keep it for last. It's the InstaView button. So if you guys don't mind though, I'd like to cover a few additional search functionalities that you do need to know, but that are potentially a little bit more straightforward than the map search with all of its options and parameters. For instance, Andy did mention that, you know, those filters that we checked just a few moments ago through the map search, those are also available at any point if you do want to do a search by criteria. And that's with the help of the advanced search, which is here in the top right corner. So through the advanced search, not only can you do a quick search by criteria, maybe for a buyer, a potential buyer or something like that on the fly, but you also have the means of searching by address. And what is available when it comes to the search by address, you do not need, what's different between MLS Touch and Matrix is that you don't need any wildcards or symbols. I'm assuming most of you are comfortable with the term wildcards when it comes to searching by partial address. As long as you type, whenever you type something in the search by address, no matter if it's the full or partial address, it will always pull up anything that matches in full or in part with what you've typed, which is pretty cool. And as you can see, let me just scroll down till the bottom, but you can search for properties that have open houses exclusively. You can also take advantage of the parameters that are under the more criteria option as well. And when it comes to city options, because I know some of you have been asking, it's your real estate board that provides you with a list of cities. Just press the city field and you'll be able to browse or search through the list of cities that your real estate board have have to break down its database in general. But you can also search through school district or by zip code if that's easier and more appropriate for the search that you want to accomplish. Not only do you have access to the advanced search, but if you do want to search for listings by their MLS number, well, there's the MLS number search there for that specific purpose. And this one allows you to search for up to 10 listings simultaneously, which can be super useful, either if you want to send out several listings to someone that don't necessarily meet the same criteria, right? That way you can pull them all up instantly and send them all. And MLS Touch does allow you to send by email or by text message multiple listings. So this might be a really cool feature to use from time to time. And for those of you who do have listings, even with this new reality that we deal with, there's people are still needing or willing to sell, right? Well, you do have access to your full active inventory with one button, the My Listings button, which will provide you with a lot of great tools that will allow you to look at these properties in various ways, filter them if you're looking for one in particular, or take action if need be. And you know what, Andy, if you don't mind, I'm going to revisit the map search real quick. And let me just do this, because no matter how you find listings, by the way, no matter if it's through the advanced search, the map search, by MLS number, whatever it is, when you switch to the list view, you have access to what we call an action menu. You can pull up this action menu with the help of this button that looks like 3 little circles that are just lined up vertically. And this action menu does provide you with the tools to take action, which will include sending all or some of the listings that you've just found, either by email or by text message. That's pretty cool, right? And Andy, do you mind if I send you a few of these by email?
I think that's a great idea.
All right, because I'd like to demonstrate this for you guys. So when I choose to send by email, then I have the means of either selecting them all, right? If I want to send all of these to Andy, or just a few, right? So I can just press on the listings I want to send Andy. Well, I'm not going to send you pendings. Let's send you some that are still available here. Are there any?
Yeah. And
let me find them. All right.
While Marie finds those, I should point out as well that some of you using Android devices may have just a slightly different interface when it's when it comes to sending multiple listings like this.
Yeah,
that's completely normal.
On Android, there's no little blue check mark when you select, but you'll see that the listings that you press on will darken if selected, right? Sort of like on my screen too, but on my screen, because I'm on iPhone and it's an iPhone interface, it does show a little bit more obviously that it is selected than on Android, but it comes up to the same thing. It's the same process, just a slight difference in the layout here. And of course, after I've made my selection here, Andy, I'm going to send you just 3. I can press the done button. And since you guys benefit from these advanced matrix integrations that we've talked about, right, you do have access to all of your matrix contacts. So that means that if I do want to send Andy these listings, and he is part of my contacts already because I added him in matrix a while ago, well, then I can just pull up my contacts, my contacts with the help of this button here, instead of having to find his email address and typing it myself. So I can just pull up my contacts here, find Andy, and as long as I have an email saved under his name, I'll be able to send it off. And I won't necessarily send it off blindly. I have the means of writing him a little message before I send it off officially. But since Andy's here, he knows why I'm sending these. So here you go, Andy. And what's really great about sending listings this way is that, well, yes, Andy will receive these listings in his inbox, right? Because I'm sending them by email this time around. Although I could have text messaged them these listings if I wanted to. But not only that, they'll also be pushed to both the client portal, the Matrix client portal, and the branded app that Andy's using, because he's one of my good clients that uses my branded app. So that later on, he'll have the means of moving these listings to his favorites if if he chooses to do so. No matter if it's through the client portal or the branded app, it's one of the same, right? One is more convenient on a computer, and the other one's more convenient on a smartphone or a tablet. And later on, through my contacts, I'll be able to look up not only Andy's contact details, but I'll also be able to tap into anything I've sent him through these solutions, either solutions, and also keep tabs on his favorites, possibilities, discarded, and even use the in-app messaging tool that connects both MLS Touch, which we're using right as realtors, and the branded app that Andy and all of my clients are using, so I can stay engaged, keep in touch, and always be on top of these clients. That's pretty cool, right?
That's very cool.
All right, and Andrea, you are able to do this basically MLS Touch allows you to tap into the MLS. Anything that you can find through Matrix, you'll be able to find through MLS Touch, and that's with the help of the search parameters and all of these great search functionalities that are available in MLS Touch. And they're designed to be quick and efficient to use on a small screen, and more specifically a touch screen, right? Which was not necessarily the case when all you guys had was Matrix, right? Available through your mobile device. And of course, there are other search functionalities. For instance, there's the hot sheet feature, which can allow you to stay informed when it comes to market activity. So the first time you press on the hot sheet button, you will be invited to select up to 10 cities that you want to keep an eye on. And after you've made your selection, and in my case, I'll just quickly make a selection if you guys don't mind. Let's say that my farm area is in Lowell, and that's what I want to keep tabs on. Lowell, there you go. I could have selected up to 10, but I limited myself to just Lowell. So there you go. And by doing that, the first time I launched the hot sheet feature, from now on, let me just demonstrate, right? From now on, anytime I press the hot sheet button from the home screen of MLS Touch, I now know what's going on in the market in the last 5 days for that specific area. And if I'm wondering what this price reduction is all about, boom, here it is. I know what it looks like. I could look up the details of this property if I wanted to. And not only that, but if there were a lot of them, right, I could filter them. Maybe I just want to see the duplexes out of them all, so I could adjust the property type or the number of bedrooms, whatever I wanted. And I think, Debbie, you're asking me earlier, the hot sheet, can I have less than 5 days? Can I only see 24 hours or just today? So the hot sheet will always show you the last 5 days activity. You see here the filter since would let you filter these results and maybe narrow it down to only 1 day, right? And at that point, let me just launch the search again. I guess there's none, right? Because I mean, maybe that price reduction happened more than a day ago. So Debbie, that would be how you can filter the hot sheet results in other ways, right? If you want, with the filter button. But in this case, let me just reset this because I do want that price reduction. There you go. And of course, we do have access to the action menu, right? So if this price reduction would be great, right? Maybe it's not exactly the perfect fit for Andy, but because it dropped price, it's an amazing deal, and I want to make sure he knows about it. I still have the means to take action on the spot, right? By either sending it by email, or if I want a quicker reaction, right, sending it by SMS to Andy instead. And so there. So that's the hot sheet for you guys. And yes, you can adjust the selection of cities whenever you want. If I'm not interested in Lowell anymore, I want to switch this area to something else, I always have the means of reconfiguring my selection anytime I want with the hot sheet. And let me just pull up the listing here, this listing here. And Andy, maybe we can give them a quick overview of what they can find in the listing details through MLS Touch, because as you may notice, right, if you guys are very familiar with Matrix, the listing details are necessarily displayed as you are used to, right? But you you do have access to all the valuable details you need to do your job efficiently as a realtor.
Yeah, for sure, Marie. And you know what? We've done a lot of work on our listing pages just to make sure that, you know, if you get to that listing page, that you have all the tools there that you need to either provide that to a client, maybe to look up comparables and stuff like that. But here's a quick breakdown of what we have when we're looking at the listing page itself. So just starting from the very top, you'll see that we have the photos here. Marie has picked out a great example that you know, we can select through these photos. But also in the top right corner, you'll see the virtual tours there as well. So if we were to click on that, and this listing does have a virtual tour, but if we were to click on that, we're taken out to the, I guess that would be the provider of that virtual tour, and then the you know, the agent can take a look at that and maybe advise their clients based on how that would work. We'll see that's loading up. Looks like that's a slower web page, but just to jump back in here, so you'll see we have access to all the photos. If I click on one of those photos, I can actually get in there and you know, zoom in and out. We can get closer. We can switch it over to landscape mode. All great things that you will maybe not find in some of the other applications on the market, even though it seems like it's such a yesterday feature. But yeah, definitely. So, and scrolling down from there, you'll be able to see a few little badges that will include to let you know if the listing is active. This case here, we have a nice price drop, which is fitting into my price range a little bit better. You'll see the, you know, what that price drop was indicated there, 5% drop down itself. And if I wanted to add this into my favorites, and this is important to distinguish just because there's your client's favorites, and then there's favorites also for the agent itself. And I can do that by clicking on that little yellow star there as well. And when you click that, it goes right into your favorites right on the home screen. So scrolling down here, we have a lot of stuff in the listing page, so I could ramble about this all day, but you'll see here quickly right in the info bar that we have you know, bedrooms, the square footage, all the pertinent information that you'd need right at your fingertips there. Just below that, I have the option to go into some of the tools that I was referring to. So if I want to jump in and take a look at the comparables, if I want to send by SMS, by email, I can also send a showing request and everything as well, right from the toolbar itself. And the other thing
and talking about the showing request button, anytime you see a showing request button, this is another integration that you can take advantage of if you use showing time. Who uses showing time here? Raise your hand. Well, showing time, not only do you benefit from matrix integrations, but you also benefit from the showing time integration, which means that anytime you need to request more information or request showings, you have the means of doing so with the help of that little button that looks like a door, basically, either through the toolbar or at any time through the contact agent details that are available with the button completely at the bottom, which will show you all the means you have of getting in touch with the agent or agents that are listing this property.
That's a great point, Maureen. If we keep scrolling down, you'll see here that really and truly, when we were setting up the application, we were really sensitive to the fact that, you know, in the feature sections or in the public remarks sections, that there was the information that you guys needed there. So whether that be private notes, which would be keeping notes on a listing for yourself, or the access to the realist data, you'll see that as you're scrolling down through here in the feature section, you really have access to all the information you'd really need on the go. You know, we are limited. We can't put all 3,000 data fields that we would see in Matrix in the application itself, but we really do try to make sure that, you know, what is decided to be put there is really what you would need while you're on the go. You know, stuff like the history of that listing itself, the pricing, but really and truly our listing page, we feel has a lot of really good sets of information, a lot of features that will kind of keep you active while you're outside of the office. So that's a quick look at our listing page itself. If there's any suggestions on things that you'd like to see in there, you can always bring those up with your MLS, and we'd be happy to take a look at those as well.
For sure. What Andy said. Don't forget to either provide us or your real estate board feedback. We are open to suggestions. And I want to revisit real quick the actions that you can take through the listing details through MLS Touch. As Andy mentioned, yes, you have the means of adding the property to your favorites with that little star icon. And he did mention those features through the toolbar that's over here that I'm pointing with my orange arrow here, which allow you, yes, to send the listing here by text message, by email, request a showing of this property, or print its listing details if you are connected to a Wi-Fi network where a printer is available. But one of the tools that is at your disposal that is not necessarily very well known by most of our users because it's hidden in that little toolbar is the instant search for comparables that you benefit from through MLS Touch. So if, for instance, if you are on the go and you do want to either know if this property is a good deal to help your buyer make an educated decision, or if you're looking at your seller's listing and you do want to do this exercise of comparing it with the properties that are either currently on the market or that have sold recently, well, this button here, the comparables button that you can find in this toolbar, will help you out in a pinch. Just press that comparables button. And the search for comparables will let you either search through sold or on market data. You can also adjust a few of its search parameters to make sure that you find proper comparables. Like in this case, I'm going to look at on-market properties. Let's say like Andy's interested in this property and he wants to know if it's a good deal. So I'm going to launch this search of properties on market. And if there are properties that are comparable, they'll be showed up on screen. And of course, in my case, I do like to look at comparables in the list view because this allows me to sort them and have control of how I see them, how I look at them. And then I can filter them, right? Maybe I want to specify a number of bathroom, not just bedroom, or things like that to narrow it down as much as I want. I am able to do so. And if after doing this exercise, I'm realizing out of these comparables that there may be other properties that are a good fit, and that may be a better deal for Andy, like this one that's 200, it's less than 275K. Then I can select it, look at its details, and then go back and maybe take action and grab the ones I want to send to Andy, right? To show him what else is out there. That's pretty cool, right? So that's the search for comparables that you can accomplish through any listing details that you pull through MLS Touch. So that's what you can accomplish. Oh, not only that, but let me just go back to this listing here and scroll down a little bit. If you do want to take note of any detail relevant about a property, no matter if it's your own listing or someone else's, you do have the means of taking notes for your eyes only under the private notes section of any listing details. Really cool to use when you're showing properties and you found out something that you don't want to forget. And what's really great is that MLS Touch was designed to be used on multiple devices. You are able to, for instance, maybe install it on your smartphone for when you're out and about, but also on your tablet, right? If you're more comfortable switching to your tablet in certain circumstances, and all the info carries over, right? So if you've accomplished something, no matter if it's writing a note, adding a property to your own favorites, talking to your clients that are using your branded app through that in-app messaging tool, all of that, it carries over on all of your devices, so that if you go from one device to another, you can always pick up where you left off. That's pretty awesome, right? Andy, can I show them my favorite feature?
I think it's time.
All right. And after that, we'll talk a little bit about setup, and we'll end the presentation officially. But my favorite feature, and I bet it's going to become yours as well, is represented by that little blue button here on the home screen, the InstaView button. Have any of you tried it out so far? If not, well, let me tell you how it works. InstaView, well, its name is very telling. It lets you instantly view the listing details of the property you're in front of. So it doesn't matter in which circumstances. Maybe you're just done with a showing and your buyer points across the street and asks you, hey, Marie, How about that one over there? Why didn't you mention it before? Is it a 2-bedroom? Can we go see it? Well, instead of telling them, I don't know, or let me get back to you, or trying to do a search by address, which can be time consuming, right? Just point your device at the property, press the InstaView button, and as long as you're within range, and the range is 400 feet, boom, instantly the listing details of the property will show up, and you'll have every means, right, of getting the answers, either your answers to your own questions or the answers of your clients' questions in a flash, right? Because even if it's not in the listing details, you have the means of getting in touch with the listing agents really quickly. So that's what InstaView is all about. And if you're in front of a building, let's say a condo building, there's several units for sale, well, it will pull all listings at this address so that you know if you or your clients have options. So that's the power of InstaView, which lets you tap into the listing details of any property that is active, that's within range of your location.
Yeah, this is a great way to access the app too. If you're just new to the app and want to maybe jump at a map search a little bit, InstaView is a really great feature to start with. It's easy, and it really makes you look good in front of clients as well. So it's definitely a good starter. Excellent. Well, guys, I think we're pretty much at the end of the how-to in the application itself.
Actually, I have one last thing to mention. I'm sorry, Andy. And it's my fault. I was talking while muted. That's how bad it was. What I was trying to say while talking to myself here is that, just so you guys know, because I know I'm already getting a lot of positive reactions from you guys about the InstaView button. I also want you to know that your branded app does have an InstaView button as well. So your clients benefit from that feature too. But however, I want to reassure you, even if your clients are quicker on the trigger, right? If you're with them, you still have the upper hand, because first of all, they only have access to public data, right? And you have access to everything. So you will have access to showing instructions, agent remarks or private remarks, the history of the property. You will have the means of contacting the listing agents. Your clients will not. That's one of the advantages of offering your branded app to your clients or anybody else out there that's looking for properties, right? Because then you will provide them with the mobile experience they deserve, where to a direct access to the MLS versus other solutions that aren't necessarily kept up to date, or if they are kept up to date, they might not necessarily be kept up to date as often or as quickly. And not only that, but you potentially avoid the situation where they could potentially reach out to the listing agent, knowing that in your branded app, the only contact details they have access to is your own. And Cindy, it is not something that you pay extra for. If you guys have access to MLS Touch, you have access to its branded app as well. It's a package. Everything it goes together. Everything comes with MLS Touch. So anyway, there. And before we end this presentation, what I wanted to do really briefly is go under the More menu of MLS Touch, this menu here in the bottom right, because I did promise you guys that I'd tell you where you can go set up your branding and any other parameter that will allow you to make this application your own. And it's under the More menu that you'll find them all. So let me just go under the More menu real quick, and we'll end with that. So under the More menu, if I start from the bottom, this is where you'll be able to log out if you ever need to. This is also where you'll find our contact details if you ever need to reach us because you have questions or you need assistance. We're here for you guys. But it's also where you'll find the general settings of the application, which will give you full control of how it behaves. You'll be able to adjust its notifications, because yes, the app notifies you anytime something requires your attention, so you can take action immediately. Also on the default search parameters or sorting settings. And if you scroll all the way back up in the More menu, this is where you'll find the button that will allow you to activate that Facebook publishing tool that can work for you, right? By publishing announcements about your listings in a just in an automated way. And it's also where you'll find the brain and share feature, which will allow you to set up your branding, right, your logo and colors, as well as start sharing your branded app with whoever you want. And let me just show you what brand and share looks like just briefly. So this is what it looks like. And this is where you'd be able to submit your logo, select 3 colors that will customize the whole experience you provide through MLS Touch. And when you're done setting that up, you make sure to save so that those modifications are applied. And from this same screen is where you can start sharing your branded app with the world. It's with this following screen here where you have the means of sending the instructions to your clients either by text message or by email, so that can download and install your app and start looking up properties that way, and then allowing you to keep tabs on them and even engaging with them with the help of that in-app messaging tool that connects your MLS Touch application to all the apps that your clients are using, right, that you provided them. And what's really great with this branded app, by the way, is that not only is it a great extra service that you can provide to your active buyers and sellers alike, but it acts like a lead generator if anybody you don't know starts using it, right? So if I do encourage you to tell the world about your branded app after you've set it up, either by including the installation link of your app in your email signature, in your next mailer, on your website, on your Facebook page and through your Facebook profile, and even encourage the people that you know to share it with their friends, family members, because it could snowball, right? Anybody new that's not already in your contacts will come in as a new lead through your MLS Touch application. And if you go into your contacts and then under leads, then any new lead that pops up here, you could accept, and instantly, as soon as you accept them, not only are they added to your contacts, which shows up in Matrix too, right? Because they're now connected because you benefit from the advanced Matrix integration. But then your MLS Touch application and their branded app are connected so that you can be engaged, keep the conversation going, and keep tabs on them efficiently through MLS Touch. Whew. All right, I'm done now, Andy.
Okay, now we do the outro. There you go. That's perfect.
All right.
Hey, thanks for joining us, everybody. This, like I said, this is for us. This is the fun part of our jobs where we get to get in and really introduce these products to a new user base. We really hope that you guys enjoy it. If you have questions on things, please call our support team. We really do want to just be there to help and support you guys, right from the MLS right down to everything else. So please, if you have questions or suggestions, we always like to hear about it. It's how we develop our products so that they meet the needs of the MLS. So it's a big win for us. If you guys want to hang out.
Yeah, so not only do you have our contact details in the app where I showed you, but you can also find us on our website, mlstouch.com. This is where you can also find our official training sessions where we go in depth about MLS Touch. And we also have a session exclusively on the branded app if you're interested in that, right? How to set it up in more details, how to share it, and then how to engage with your clients using it. We even demonstrate it. And if you don't follow us on Facebook yet, we encourage you to go like our page. I'm actually going to send you guys that are here with us live the link so you can do that right away. Not only is it how we keep you informed of anything new, relevant, but we also every week we do have a Facebook Live event. If I'm not mistaken, it's every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you don't want to miss out on anything, just go like our Facebook page and you'll be notified as soon as we go live. And that being said, we will be ending this presentation momentarily. For those of you here live, stick around because we will start the question period after we end this recording. But before we do, we want to thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks again, guys. Thanks for hanging with us. And yeah, we hope that you guys enjoy using MLS Touch. Thanks so much.